Well, it seems like we're all doing KDE these days, don't we? Plasma. Yeah, you're seeing it right as well. Look, yeah, it's this thing. It's on it. Here we go. I'm running a buntu. I'm running Kubuntu 2204.4 or whatever the most recent point release has been. There's a reason for that. I'm on the recently acquired i5 laptop, 11th generation i5 laptop with 8 cores and apparently 3.5 gigs of RAM. I think it's 4. But why am I on it? I'm on it because this particular laptop has got no LAN socket, so I can't plug it into the wired networking for doing installs, and because it had Windows 11 and it struggled. Yeah, it struggled. This 11th generation i5 with 8 cores struggled with Windows 11. God only knows why. I don't know why. It was fine to start with when I first got it. I got it second hand. It was like £200. It was fine when I first got it, and then after a certain amount of updates, and I used it for a little while and a few more updates, and it just got really grindy and slow, and I was thinking, again, same old thing. If I've got Windows on a laptop, I don't use that laptop. Oh, and get this, it was using 3.7 gigs of RAM, which is crazy considering this is only saying we've only got 3.5. Everything measures the RAM differently though, doesn't it? Just running Windows 11, it was pretty much maxed out the RAM on Windows 11, and the processor was doing about 10%. So it had to go, and I had to replace it with something that would install, don't get me wrong, on a secure boot UEFI system, because I didn't want to go into the EFI and take it off secure boot, because I didn't think I'd need to, because the only things that would actually boot and connect to the internet for the installation would be something which has already got most of the firmware already included, and that to me meant, something with the Ubuntu backend. So obviously I wanted to come off Windows 11, and I had to go onto a Linux that would boot up on a secure boot UEFI and find my Wi-Fi chips. And the only one that done that was Kubuntu. Well, I dare say the other Ubuntus would have done it, but I wanted Plasma, so Kubuntu it is. And here we are, so let's have a look and see. Come on. Let's go and see what this is pushing while we're doing a recording. Okay. Well, we're using 1.6 gigs of RAM, recording the desktop, which ain't bad. The cores are sitting around, 15%. Recording the screen, which ain't bad, quite honestly. This isn't a lot higher than it would be without recording, honestly. I had it on earlier and it was 1.4 gig without screen recording, so I don't know, something was going on, I guess, in the background. Probably things like this. Updates. What updates? I've done the updates. Come on then, let's have a look. On Discover. car. Is that it? 200. Well, let's update them. Let's go for it. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I know it looks crazy, doesn't it? 8 cores. Is it really an 8-core machine? So this is definitely the most sensible option, I think, because it's got the firmware, and yeah, I'm sorry, it's the Ubuntu backend, and yeah, my browser is a snap. I feel like I've sold out, but have I really? Because if I hadn't installed this, I wouldn't be using the machine at all, because it would still be grinding along under Windows 11. I'm going to find a way of making this much more streamlined. I'm not happy about this 1.5 gigs just sitting idle on the desktop. I need to figure out a way of reducing that down, and I'm sure there is a way. There's got to be, right? I still feel uncomfortable, but I don't feel half as uncomfortable as I did when I had Windows 11 on. And I'm never going to get Windows 11 back on it again now. I ain't even going to get Windows 10 on it, because this has got a weird NVMe SSD, a non-standard one, a company that took over from Toshiba SSDs and whatever. Grief, what is it? Have I got it written down anywhere? Possibly have, but not to hand. And anyway, I downloaded the firmware from Hewlett Packard, but I couldn't get it to mount into the USB installer drive for Windows 10 or even Windows 11. So, well, I wasn't going to put Windows 11 on, and it wouldn't install into Windows 10. Wouldn't find the firmware, even though it was on the USB stick and copied across in the way that was recommended. So I ain't going to get Windows on here now. And do you know what? Just like on the other HP, I'm really not bothered, because this is working better than Windows ever would on this. So I've just got to find a way of making this a little more fat-free. Let's do a little test now and see if my Snap browser starts, how quick it takes. Well, now that ain't bad, is it? But this is the first time I've used it, so it should have taken a bit longer. But no, real quick. Let's try it the second time. Well, okay, it seems to be working fine, but that still doesn't mean that I'm happy about snaps. Oh, and by the way, yeah, actually, let's get, okay, is this console, that's what it is. Oh yeah, I've installed Synaptic, of course I have. So let's have a look at what snaps we've got on here. Well, this, and this are all standard for using Snap. So the only Snap that we've actually got is Firefox. This is just GNOME compatibility, GNOME themes, the core systems, the bare system, and Snapd itself. You can bet your boots there's not going to be any more snaps installed on this, because I'm using Synaptic. And I hope that it doesn't surprise me with more snaps. So here's another thing as well. Canonical are now stopping the main buntus, the main official buntus, from having Flatpak by default, which, you know, yeah, it does sound very much like a Microsofty kind of behaviour. But it's their back end. I guess they can dictate. They certainly can't dictate to the likes of Linux Lite. They can't dictate to Mint. They can't dictate to unofficial flavours. Only the ones that have fallen under their umbrella and their guidance, inverted commas. I'm running a buntu with snaps and system D. Like I said though, the only thing that would find my Wi-Fi chip and that would install straight over secure boot UEFI. And at least it's not Windows blooming 11. Ciao folks. Y'all be good now.